Hey, it's Zim, and today we're going to be taking a look at Becastled. Now, this video is going to be a little bit different than my normal Should You Play series, because these games are going to be more early access, and if you're like me, you're probably looking at a lot of games on Steam, and you see some that you really like, and it turns out it's in early access, and then you're kind of digging through reviews and trying to find videos on whether or not it's even worth picking up yet, and whether or not you should wait, and sometimes you're just impatient and you buy it and then you get disappointed with the finished product or even the product in the current state. So really we're just going to take a look at how it is currently as of the date of the video, and then I'll probably take another look later down the road when it's finished. So Becastled is a castle defense colony builder style game. So we're going to just go ahead and jump into a new game. And so you're going to be presented with this screen right now. And you can choose how many days you want to keep the game running for. And at the end of every day, you're going to be attacked by an increasingly difficult wave of enemies. Now, right now, that's kind of the case, but we'll get more into that as we go through. But 15 days is just fine. Map types are really up to you. I think random map, I've played around on all the maps now individually. I think they're all pretty easy / interesting to build on, that I don't feel like you need to choose a specific map to have an enjoyable time with the game, or like when you first start, it starts on castle on a small hill. This is to try to make it easier for you. I don't feel like that's necessary based on the combat difficulty of Recruit, which is also kind of the base one. This can also go down. Now, the AI difficulty is slightly there, and this is going to kind of increase like the damage and how big the wave they're going to be sending at you. But there are some problems with the AI right now, so that's actually going to really change as the game gets progressively better. So right now, I don't think raising difficulty is necessary, and oftentimes can actually make the AI worse. It's kind of weird. This is obviously going to change difficulty in terms of how you're building, how much resources you have. I just stick with the standard, and same with the neutrals. Neutrals are going to be like wolves, which are going to contest territory, and you will have to kill off to expand territory. Now, they'll never invade you, though, unlike the enemies of the game at the end of the day. But we're going to start. Gives you a little different pictures of different setup towns. A lot of these are pretty unrealistic, honestly, because you are confined to space. But once you're brought into the game, you'll be able to build your castle. Now, you have to choose on one of the green spots, which means you can't get as much freedom as you'd like. That's something I'd like to see change, honestly, is like I should be able to choose where I really want to put my castle, but we'll just put it here for now. And so we'll start building there. Now, as you can see, we have one follower. All this is actually going to drastically change once this castle is built. And one of the things I would like to see change is a way to speed up the game. Right now, we can drastically drop it to 0.25 or 1. And of course, you can pause it by just hitting the escape button. However, I think there are times where you'll find yourself wanting to speed up the game. So I really hope that they bring in that feature. We'll just go back to the game. Once you build a castle, it'll give you soldiers. What's nice is if you were to select everything, it'll only move the soldiers, like the people will just chill there. But you also have buttons in the bottom left-hand corner to select all your workers, or select your swordsmen, or select all your troops once you have multiple different types of troops. Now, one of the things with these swordsmen is they are probably the best military unit outside of archers. And that becomes kind of a problem in, like, you never have a reason to be diverse. We're going to build a sawmill over here. And so you end up building basically archers and swordsmen because of how good they are. Now notice, because we have this weird hill going on here, that these wolves instantly tried attacking him. We don't want that to happen. Because they will kill... I probably want to... but I'm worried he's going to go that way. They will kill your villagers without remorse. Get in there. All right, sweet. You can claim territory by spending wood. Wood is kind of your primary building material for the longest time until you can start getting really good stone reserves. And it's also kind of used as a currency in expanding your empire. So wood's really important. The next thing here we have is what's called sunstone. You are the sun people, and you're being attacked by the night people, or soldiers of the moon. You get a timer up here, and it'll actually always tell you where they're going to attack from. You'll get to see this crystal, which is quite nice, because then you can prepare for it better. They'll tend to go towards wherever there's an easy access point or a building for them to attack. But in terms of like these spawn points, those are always randomly generated every day. Let's see here. So sunstone's important because it's your currency. So right now we're losing 35 currency a turn. This is what you pay your soldiers with. Soldiers don't eat food, but food's obviously also important because that's what feeds your workers. So we're actually going to want to start building a farm here. There are 2 types of food. Well, 3 really, but that one's right next to the enemies, so we won't take that one yet. And we're going to want to build a house. Houses allow you, obviously, to get more workers. And so we're going to build food so we can feed our workers. I'm wondering if these guys, when they run back at night, if they'll get attacked by these wolves. We're really going to have to take out these wolves pretty early. We don't want to do it before this attack, though, because right now we only really have access to 5 soldiers, and so we have to be very cautious. We'll just build a farm here. And there we got another worker already. Perfect. So every resource has its importance. And so stone is used for stronger places and actually upgrading these buildings. This is something that the tutorial never teaches you. The tutorial for this game is actually really good, except for the fact that it never kind of teaches you that you can upgrade buildings. And so that's something you could quickly be like, oh, I didn't know I could do that. I didn't know I should do that. So like that is definitely something that they could improve upon a little bit. Let's see here. Kind of waiting for this invasion to start, but we should probably also deal with my gold loss. So we're gonna get another house going. You always see the workers in the top right hand corner here. These workers, when they're not working on something, will also show that as well. Kind of down in the left hand corner here, select free workers. Right now he's building something, so he's not free. Now he is free. We have 1 in the left-hand corner, and now we have 2 more spots available. That's just important to note when you are... Oh, no. No. Well, he died. Alright, yeah, we're going to have to really deal with these wolves early. Rip that guy. We'll build a sunstone workshop over there. I wish they would... So that's one of the problems with this game right now in early access is pathing is pretty bad for the AI in both the your side with your villagers and also the... Oh, no. We're not doing this. But also with the enemy AI. Is he just going to go back to that tree? What is he doing? Yep, he's just going to go back to that tree. This is the problem. We're going to turn him into a regular worker for now. And maybe we'll build a barracks. Now we don't have the wood for it. No! I need my woodcutters, but they'll just die. Alright, well this is a problem. We'll have to deal with that soon. After this wave. So yeah, the pathing right now is not great. And something that I noticed in a lot of games with the enemy pathing is certain types of units will spawn, and then they'll stand there and do nothing. And they won't attack because they can't figure out how to get to you, even though there's a clear and obvious path. It just, the AI gets somehow confused. It's a problem with the coding. It's something that does need to get fixed. It's not enough to like kill the enjoyment of this game though. There is still a lot of fun to be had. And here we go. Here's the enemies. So as we can see, they're spawning in and they're gonna just start running. So we will meet them in combat. Now, these first early invaders tend to be the easiest. They are just axe soldiers. They take a lot of damage, and They don't really deal any damage to you, so they die pretty quickly. And then once you've completed the wave, you'll start your day over again. You get 6 more minutes to start building up your empire and your kingdom. I'm gonna take 2 of these workers and manually walk them over there. That's another problem. Some of these hills, they'll be built based on buildings. So, like, if you place something on a hill, it might extend the hill, which makes, like, pathing also pretty awkward. So that's something to keep in mind as well. But let's go ahead and deal with these wolves. Because I need them gone. Now, once again, if we hold over there, we know that the enemy's spawning over here, which means they'll probably come up on this hill. When you attack wolves, there's always, like, a grand alpha wolf. He's usually hiding in the den. Sometimes he's hanging out. You will have to kill him. As you can see, they are wrecking my army. Wolves are tougher than the moon people at first, so just be aware of that. Now, as we're attacking this, you notice I can't really see my soldiers. You can't actually always move the camera, which is nice. I always like to see that there's a full camera. But as you can see, like, the soldiers can't figure out how to attack the den. This is an issue a lot of the times where, like, soldiers will start getting stuck, and it's quite frustrating. But there we go. Once last wolf has died, we'll be able to conquer this tile, and I won't have to worry about my villagers having bad pathing into the wolves themselves. There we go. Perfect. Now, because we are sorely lacking soldiers, we're going to want to build a barracks. Why not here? This will be fine. And let's assign some workers to start producing some gold for me. One of the other bugs right now is when you hover over Sunstone to see how much you're making, it doesn't go away like the other resources. If I stop hovering over wood, it just goes away. If I stop hovering over Sunstone, it still stays up. That's just something that'll eventually go away, hopefully. So, this game is a lot of fun at first. I've had a lot of fun with several different campaigns. I'd say campaigns, 15-turn games, because the AI kind of breaks down the longer the game goes on. You could do an endless game, but like I said, the AI is just not there yet. We're going to start training some soldiers as well. Soldiers take away from your population only until they become soldiers. So while they're training, they count as your population. But once they become soldiers, they no longer count, and so it'll spew out some more workers for us as well. That's just something to know. So the game is a lot of fun early on. The problem I find with it is there's not enough interesting buildings and unit diversity right now to make the game continually fun. So, like, yeah, you can upgrade these buildings, and that's great. And yeah, you can, build markets and build some storehouses, and you end up needing to. A lot of these buildings are necessary to where you'll have at least one of each, which is fine, but there's very little in terms of, other than how you're shaping your castle and city to look, there's very little in making each game unique, because you're going to have the same buildings and use the same units every time. And that, to me, is a huge letdown. It's something that I really want to see them expand on. Now, this game is new in early access, but it definitely needs more diversity in terms of military units, because right now you have an archery range and barracks. Barracks can make 3 different types of swordsmen. Archery ranges can only make basic archers. Now I'm hoping we'll see maybe some crossbowmen and stuff like that. And then there is the siege workshop, but the siege workshop is unfortunately unusable, mainly because the siege engines that it builds often will hit your own walls, and I'm unsure whether or not it's actually doing damage to your own walls, but it's a huge problem with their targeting AI, is that you'll just see a lot of problems with being able to actually use it, because it will target an enemy even when they're behind your wall and it can't see it, and it'll just start shooting your wall. So then it does nothing. And so it becomes a huge waste of resources and income. And so, like, right now, siege engines are just useless. I think we want 2 more soldiers, too. Just like in any RTS style, You can also direct your soldiers and where you want your buildings to spew out soldiers, so just keep that in mind. Now, also, we can build walls and gates and defensive towers, and that's awesome as well. But we're still stuck with 2 resources, which is fine. But I would like to see them do more with it, I guess. Like, the stone walls are cool, but once you have stone walls, there's no improvement past that. And so, like, I like to see, like, more interesting design options. Now, there's also something that will call my biggest pet peeve. Where are they coming from? I should prepare for this now. Forgot it was about to be night. Oh, they are going to climb over here. That's bizarre. It's fine, though. As you notice, the wave has doubled in size. Now, sometimes they'll send bigger enemies at you and less of them, and other times they'll just send a ton of guys at you. That's obviously going to get more and more as the game progresses, essentially. There's also this timer here, meaning if enemies do get stuck after, I think it's like a minute and a half, it will just kill them off. So they can't kill you if they don't kill you in enough time either. But they will try to destroy your civilization. It's slightly a little bit too easy, but the problem is it's with the AI itself and not with like the difficulty, because you could raise the difficulty, and I think that would make the game harder once the AI has better pathing and not trying to just stand there and do nothing in the middle of the night. And so you're either forced to go and attack them, which why would you, or you can wait a minute and a half and they'll just die on their own. But I'm going to show you one of my biggest pet peeves of the game. So you can build walls, which is important for your settlement. So we're going to build some walls. Why not? Based on the direction, we'll also design how it looks, essentially. Now, whether or not that matters I'm unsure. Like, I don't know if the fence facing one way matters over the other, but like when you place a tower, there's clearly a door, and so you have to be careful, because when I place a tower, let's say here, sometimes it might change the rotation of my tower as I attach fences to it. So like right now the door is facing obviously into my empire, which is good because I don't want my enemies easily going into my archer tower, which they will try to. But the problem is that when you start rearranging some things or adding on to things, sometimes these towers actually like change their facing, and I don't know why, and it's super frustrating. Now we're gonna get another fence over here. Where is the enemy attacking? Oh, back from over here. Perfect. That's fine. Just point that over there. Now, as we build these fences, you can build a, what's it called? Builders Guild. These are essentially people who are dedicated to building. It's something that I always end up building because it's nice to know, instead of always having one person hanging out doing nothing because you're afraid that you might need to build a house soon and to increase your population. Oh, my sunstone worship. Yeah, go for it. It's fine. You can always use another person. Now, here's the problem, which is, let's say I want to gate towards this stone resource, which seems like a good idea. Sometimes you can build gates, and sometimes you can't. And so it really is like this awkward, if it can evenly place it, great. But if it can't, it won't do it at all. And I'm trying to see if there's a spot where it wouldn't let me build a gate. I don't think I have one on this map for where we are currently. But so gates always have to be in the center. Now, if there's not a centerpiece, let's say this is made out of 2 fences, but it's slightly shorter, it won't let you build a gate there for no reason, other than it can't figure out where to place it. And that drives me crazy. It's infuriating. In fact, I can load up a game to better express this frustration that I have. And so we'll just load into this game. This is a game that I've progressed like 9 or 10 days into. And one of the things I've found with this game is also a problem is that I become kind of exhausted with it. And so I'm doing a ton of things, I have a lot of fun, and then like 9 or 10 days in, as we see, we're 10 days in, and I'm kind of like, I'm ready to be done with it. Mainly because there's just not enough to build. If there was more to build, that would be great. But, as I was saying, I would love to build a gate here, because it makes sense to have a gate here. But because this is too short, it won't let me, and it drives me crazy. This is something that frustrates me, because clearly there should be enough room for a gate here. That should not be a problem. Or, don't have me build this wall and let me just automatically build the gate. But because the gate builds based on whatever resource it's being attached to, which is what I think is causing part of the problem as well, it won't let me build a gate there, and that drives me crazy. I really just would like to build a gate there. And as you can see, they've got quite a large army just chilling here. I think we have some enemies coming that way, which means they'll probably try to walk around. We'll move those guys there to my market. But this is a larger game in process, and honestly, I built everything available to me. And so, other than some decorations, because they don't really add anything, that's just something you could do if you want to. And so the big problem with this game is there needs to be more to build and do right now, and it's just not present. So there's a lot of fun, and this game is $14.99 in early access. What is here is definitely enjoyable for a few hours, but probably not for a long amount of time until the game has seen more development. We haven't seen a patch yet, and I'm hoping we'll see one, a big one, in the next 2 or 3 months. So currently, I recommend keeping your eye on it, maybe add it to your wish list, and see what the community's saying when they do put out a patch, because right now there's a lot of fun to be had, it's just the longevity of the game isn't there. So it's definitely something, keep your eye out, and if you really do like what you've seen so far, it's not a bad game by any means, and definitely fun to play. So it's hard for me to be like, oh, definitely pick it up, but it's also hard for me to say that it's not worth your time yet either. It's kind of in a weird middle place. So if you like what you saw, just put it on your wish list and keep your eye out on it. And I think in a few months' time, it probably will be worth picking up. But right now, I think you're better off waiting and seeing it gain some more content and having the AI fix, because that's another huge problem, is that sometimes the AI does nothing. And here, actually, I'll show you we'll let this tick down, and I'll show you a larger wave on day 10. And we'll see if we have that same issue. I do notice that the issue occurs more if the summon point is further away from your castle. So if it was like over here, it would have a problem, even though it's a very direct path. But right here, it's only about 1 tile away. Should be able to figure it out. So here we go. I got some archers all over the place. And there's a summon. And so, got some large amount of enemy soldiers. They have their own siege engine. We also have a giant, some more enemy soldiers with them. And as we can see, they're going to walk towards that way. It's going to be hard. I don't know how they're going to get around. So, archers are very effective in this game. If you can position them correctly, you will have an easy time. It's, like I said, I wish we saw more unit diversity to make these matter. But obviously right now, let's see if we can put the walk over there. And so you can see that they're already having some trouble pathing, but they're figuring it out. Oh, and see, I love when enemies walk around awkwardly like this. So, I don't know what's happening here. But, it's annoying is that they are, catty-cornering this area. And it makes no sense. It's super frustrating because it's basically forcing you to wall an area that really shouldn't need a wall, because that should just count as being at the edge, and that they should be forced to walk around. It's a problem with AI pathing again, but hopefully we'll see a change. We're going to want to send my soldiers, and so they'll do the same thing. They'll just kind of... Oh, no. Oh, what? They'll figure it out. There we go. Oh, my castle walls died. I'll have to rebuild that. That's sad. Yeah. And that's wave 10. So obviously this is just set to the recruit difficulty. It's fine. But I've noticed on larger difficulties that the AI tends to have more and more pathing issues. So it's kind of a weird trade-off that I would like to... I'd like to... oh, these guys are going to be stranded there. I just realized. I'd like to up the difficulty, but I can't. Because it just makes it actually easier, because then the AI just gets confused. But anyway, guys, that is Becastled. Put it on your wish list. Check it out. I think it's going to be worth it in the coming patch or two, especially if they can push a major content to add more buildings and more unit diversity instead of just basically putting out foot soldiers and archers. Thanks, and I'll see you guys later.